Welcome to the channel, and welcome to this Warhammer 40,000 9th edition narrative battle report between Imperial Guard and Drukhari. I am Say Hypel in association with DeploymentZone.tv. So today we are at a desert moon in the fiefdom of Ultramar, and the Drukhari are mounting a real space raid. But before we open the lid on this can of narrative goodness, just a couple of bits of admin. Regular viewers of the channel will be familiar with this bit, feel free to skip on. But if you're new to the channel, before you commit your valuable time to watching, just a couple of things to know. I ramble a lot. This is my battle reports have a very particular style. I go off topic, I ramble on topic, I ramble tangential to topic. I also have very low production values. Sometimes the camera's a little bit shaky, sometimes it's not always pointed in the right direction. The feel of my channel is very much come and join me in my garage for a game of 40k on Friday night, which is when where I am and when I'm filming this. All my battle reports at the moment, certainly, are played against myself. They're all narrative, they're all Paul v Paul. I play both sides and attempt to play out a story using the rule of cool, and balance be damned. But the most relevant bit you'll probably want to know about is I have a small number of narrative house rules, which I will point the camera at now. There's a video on the back catalogue somewhere if you're interested in the rationale behind all of these, but the short version is I don't put a +1, -1 limit on dice roll modifiers. I let characters charge with units, so if a character and a unit are within coherency of each other and they're both going to charge the same target or targets, I make one roll and they either both succeed or both fail, and if they succeed they both move, then everything goes back to normal. I don't use command point rerolls, and I don't limit the number of times a stratagem can be used in a single phase. I don't think many of the others will be relevant, but the most important rule I have is I apply what I like to call narrative common sense. For me, this is all about playing out what would happen in the game world, and if I come across a scenario that I think is a little bit, I'm not quite sure it'd happen like that, I change it. Okay. Right, giving people a moment to turn off in disgust. I think they're probably all gone now. So, what is the scenario we are looking at? So, we're going back about 20 or 30 years, a few decades, to about the time of the launching of the Indomitus Crusade. Commorrogh is abuzz with stories of new Mon-Keigh warriors, larger, faster, stronger, more aggressive, and claiming them as prizes for slaves to be bartered, to be toyed with in the arenas is a very high prestige indeed. And thousands of real space raids go on every day out of Commorrogh, and a number of them, of which this is one, better, are being sent out to try and acquire Primaris Space Marines as captives. Now, you may notice this is a game of Drukhari versus Imperial Guard. Well, this is the first episode of a 3-part series. All of which are going to be on public YouTube, and they're going to be consecutive. So this is the first. The next battle report I put out on public YouTubes will be the second, and the one after that will be the third, in case anyone needed a lesson in counting up to 3. I probably could have covered that in a lot fewer words and come across as a lot less of a prat. Ah, well, been there, done that. One of the other things I don't do is delete stuff that I've said on camera. I just run with it. Because if you're chatting with someone in your garage, you can't take it back. If your mate looks at you and goes, mate, I know what 3 is. You're like, oh yeah, sorry, bud. So I mention public YouTube. That's because I have a members area of YouTube where we do exclusive members live streams. There are exclusive campaigns and battle reports in the members area on YouTube, and I also have a there is also a Discord where channel members chill out, hang out, talk hobby, swap pics, tips, and just generally be excellent to one another. And and you can access this by becoming a channel member. Link below. I say below, it's in the description, and I think there's a thing at the end of the video, or you can just go to my homepage if that sounds like your cup of tea. And if you're interested in supporting me, that is the best way to do it. So, right. Capitalist advert over. So this particular real space raid is intended to draw the attention of the Mon-Keigh forces in the hope that they will send their new elite warriors. So they're doing something a little bit more risky. They are attacking in the same locale more frequently and significantly, they're staying for longer. The vast majority of all Drukhari real space raids are lightning strikes in and out before the enemy even knew they were really there, and it's a significant part of the way they wage war. It's a tool as powerful as any other, as a weapon as powerful as any other in their arsenal. Well, this particular Archon has decided that actually we're going to linger a bit longer. We're going to try and make our pattern a little bit more predictable. We're going to try and goad them into attacking us, or at least goad them into coming into this sector, revealing their presence, so we can jump on them and claim our prize. So the first thing they are doing is they are finding lightly defended worlds in Ultramar and attacking them. You know, slave raid's a slave raid. Real space raid is a real space raid. They are targeting poorly defended Mon-Keigh settlements in order to enslave their populace and kill a lot, because that's what Drukhari like to do. And what's the point? That's what they need to do in order to stave off the gnawing abyss and the threat of she who thirsts devouring their souls. They become satiated, and they manage to retain an element of their youth and vitae by feeding off the pain and suffering of others. Ergo, slave raiding is a little bit like an hour on the tanning bed for them. You know, 30 minutes in the sun, spa weekend. It's everything a growing or aging Drukhari needs to remain young and happy, listening to the tortured wails of others. So, this particular planet is, this particular moon is a small desert moon in Ultima Segmentum in the 500 worlds, and it is highly rich in mineral wealth. There be oil underneath them there dunes, and there are nearby Promethean processing facilities off-world, and other such paraphernalia one would associate with Promethean. But, as with all worlds in the Imperium, it has a PDF, a Planetary Defence Force, and they are rallying. Once the Drukhari raids have started, they're becoming a little bit more predictable, and the PDF is putting up a show of force. Now, Drukhari normally run rings around the PDF because they're quite a static force, but they are trying to be a little bit more predictable, so they're actually engaging the PDF in this front, on this front, again, to try and goad these Primaris Marines into an appearance. Now, this particular little moon has a very, very, very short day. It spins around its axis very quickly. I did a little bit of research about this, I said a little bit of research, and I think it's Haiti is one of, was it Jupiter or Saturn? One of the others. One of their moons only has a like a 5 and a bit hour day. It rotates just in 5 and a bit hours. So I'm thinking there can be other moons in the galaxy that rotate even quicker. So I want to do something a little bit interesting, and I'm breaking out the open war cards because they are my favourite way of playing Warhammer 40k 9th edition. Oops. Okay, so what are we doing? We're going to use this super interesting deployment card, which is basically, so that's the middle of the battlefield there. That's going to be the Imperial Guard deployment zone, and that's going to be the Drukhari deployment zone. Now, what is quite interesting is that potentially means, the Drukhari can start right here, which means they've got a big advantage over the Imperial Guard, and the Imperial Guard can push right back if they want. But objectives are a thing, and we'll come on to that in a minute. But if the Drukhari do start right out in the open, bold as brass, then, and they don't get first turn, they run a significant risk of having their undercarriage shot off. So it's not necessarily the case that either both armies or one army is going to be pushed right up to the centre. Now, the objective is storm their lines. This is because the Drukhari want to push past the PDF to do more raiding and pillaging and more general murder and theft of the local populace. But the PDF, they want to cut off the Drukhari's escape because they know they've got reinforcements coming in. So they want to get behind the Drukhari so that they can crush them in between them and their reinforcements. So we're playing Storm Their Lines. And this is, I don't know why I'm moving around the table with the card. This is 3 objectives in each deployment zone. So we've got some quite big deployment zones. So the Drukhari will put 3 in their zone. The Imperial Guard will put 3 in their zone. At the end of each, was it at the end of the battle round or turn or what? At the end of the turns, at the end of each player's turn, you get a point for each of your own objectives you control, but 2 points for each of your opponents, just to try and encourage you to go, sort of opposite. But equally, the Guard are going to be sat at the back. The Guard do sitting on objectives very well, and the Drukhari don't. And that's kind of a balance to the rules that we're playing to represent the spin of the planet. Now, Blackout and Blinding Sun might be a bit of a contradiction. However, I'm tweaking both of these cards slightly because I just had this awesome idea about a planet that span around so quickly, you have night and then day and then night during the same game. So, Blackout will be in effect in turn 1 and turn 5, assuming I remember in turn 5. Turn 1 and turn 5. So the maximum range of all the shooting attacks and psychic powers will be limited to 18 inches because the Drukhari are attacking in dead of night. The notion is the sun is so bright on this planet that the shadow that's cast is so dark on its offside. Does that work? Close enough. Then we have Blinding Sun. Now, the game mechanic for Blinding Sun is you roll a random table edge, and say it's that one. So you've got a Blinding Sun over there. And if you're firing towards the Blinding Sun, you're at -1 to hit. Then there's a roll for later in the game, the Blinding Sun might move, as the sort of day changes. So I'm not using it exactly as it is on the card here. Now, I did think initially, turn 2, rolling a dice to see which edge the sun pops up from. But I couldn't come up with any reason why the Drukhari would attack into the sun, because they've planned this. So what I'm going to say is that the sun comes up on... Or am I changing my mind as I'm talking? The Drukhari won't attack into the sun, so I'm going to randomise it between these 3 edges, not the Imperial Guard edge. However, after that, I am going to randomise. So on turn 2, let's say for the sake of argument it comes up over here. That's turn 2. Then on turn 3, I'm going to randomise it, and it's going to move to either the Guard table edge, or the Drukhari table edge. Then in turn 4, it'll go to the other side. This planet is rotating that quickly, the sun is just sort of squeezing overhead. And then turn 5, we'll be back to blackout. So we have a real combination of bizarre deployment zones, storming their lines with one army that likes to stay still and the other that likes to definitely not stay still. We've got some quite interesting lines of fire here, because this is... I never said about what this actually is. I mean, this is in the heart of the Imperial settlement. This isn't an outer defence area. Those have all been bypassed and breached. This is just part of the workings of the planet. There's a sort of store area. There are some crates. There's a sort of supplies dump, but there's also some power and processing generators and some heavy equipment. And as you would expect on a fortified Imperial world, or even a moderately fortified Imperial world, there are fortifications, there are anti-aircraft guns, and there are towers. Now, we're going to treat all these as ruins. The guns aren't active. Or I'll treat that as a ruin. Everything else, I'm going to use my handy chart on the wall to say what things do, and I'll look that up as and when it becomes relevant. But yeah, as I said at the start, this is all about the scenario, not whether or not it's a fair fight. Because when is there ever a fair fight? And I think I've remembered everything. If I haven't, it'll either remain forgotten forever, or it'll come up as we go along. So let's go and have a look at the armies. Okay, slight change of plan. You'll have noticed we're not back looking at the armies. So I've been having a bit more of a mooch around the table and looking down at lines of sight. And the way it's set up, I sort of did a bit of measuring of the deployment zones and where the objectives will all go. And I've reached the conclusion that I don't think the Guard have any chance whatsoever because of all the line of sight, because of the nature of the line of sight blocking terrain. I would often... Basically, all their objectives will be in here, and they won't be able to see the Drukhari coming until they're literally on top of them. I don't think that's a game. I think that is a shooting fish in a barrel, and that is for storytelling, not for games. I know I'm telling a story with a game, but there need to be variables. So the slight addendum is I'm going to play sideways, because we've still got some massive line of sight blocking pieces that people will have to maneuver around, but there are also some open fire lanes available. Whereas if the Guard, I was just looking at all the things as I was laying it out, I thought they'll all have to fit within that little area, and they won't be able to shoot past these big things, and they'll just get destroyed. And I don't want to have to go back and reshoot the first 15 minutes and pretend I was going to do this all the time. My process is often quite organic. I often chop and change as I'm doing it, but normally I'm quite sorted before I get to the filming it stage. I've just had second thoughts because I anticipate interestingly, of course, it's on the day when I said, to hell with balance. And I'm not talking about having a balanced game. I'm talking about having one where there's a point in playing it. And I've reached the conclusion that I think the Guard deploying in that little nook there, with their objectives just there, isn't a game that's worth playing. But I already said it. So yes, a slight change of plan. We're going for this deployment instead. Yes, we are. Right. Now, with an imperceptible click of the fingers, let's have a look at the army. So here we have circa 1,000 points of Ultramar PDF, Imperial Guard of the Astra Militarum. Oh yeah! This is a different configuration with the models that I got to the ones I previously used, and I love this. This is This has got a real coolness factor to it. Because normally I put like command squads in the Chimeras, and it's a bit, and I thought, well, I want a whole armor put it. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself now. I'm rambling about a ramble. I'll try and stay vaguely on topic before I go off. So, this is a combined arms platoon. No, combined arms company. This is a detachment of a combined arms company. Is company right, or is it regiment? Combined arms regiment. I'll get there eventually. I will. Honest. The way I look at PDFs, right, is they're all going to have different types of training, and Ultramar being so large, when I play different PDFs, different guard regiments from within the Ultramar PDF, I don't think they will automatically all have the same doctrines. I think depending on, individual planets, even within Ultramar, will still potentially have very different doctrines. So, looking at these ones, this particular regiment, their doctrines are disciplined shooters. Now that sounds perfect for Ultramarians, which means rapid-fire weapons, rapid-fire within 18 inches rather than 12, which I think is super cool. And given this is a combined regiment, this is a combined regiment with some vehicles in, I thought we'd go for gunnery experts, because these are all really good shots. Which is vehicles get to re-roll the type roll for their weapons. We roll one of the dice, but I don't think I have any vehicles with 2 dice for the thingy, so there's only 1 re-roll relevant. So what are we looking at? So we have got, from leftish to rightish, we've got 20 conscripts. They can't hit the side of the barn door, but it has been known for them to kill Chaos Knights. So, barn doors notwithstanding, conscripts. Or in Ultramar, I prefer to think of them as reservists. Units that haven't been fully trained yet, who are called into service before they're actually ready, but they are fighting. They are combat. They have some combat skills, so they do get employed or deployed, depending. Then we have two troop squads. Both are 10 men, as is tradition, with a heavy weapons team, a Voxcaster, and a special weapon. The front one is missile launcher, grenade launcher, and the rear is las cannon flamer. Both have got Voxcasters. The front sergeant's got a chain sword, and the rear has a power sword. Tanks vehicles at the back. We have an armoured sentinel with a plasma cannon. Plasma. A Chimera armoured transport with a heavy bolter and heavy flamer, and a couple of las gun arrays, which are super shooty if you've got units embarked. I assume it's if you've got units embarked. I don't know if that's still there. It was last time I played. Last time I read it. And a standard pattern Lehman Russ. Battle cannon, las cannon, 2 heavy bolters. Come back to the command section in a moment. We have 9 weird vein psychers from the Adepta Telepathica, who are deployed here to bolster the line. Aware that Drukhari play on the fears of mortal men, and these are here to try and allay some of those fears and try and support the Guardsmen. We have a heavy weapons team. I thought rather than either give all the squads las cannons or missile launchers and have the rest here, I'd mix them up a little bit. So the team has 2 missiles, 1 las cannon. And in front of them, we have a unit of veterans. Las cannon, Vox, 2 melter guns, flamer, power sword. The idea is they are going to go in the transport with the sergeant major. Then we have a command squad, 2 grenade launchers, Voxcaster, and standard. Yep, the standard helps with morale and all that good stuff. Then we have the command section in the middle. We have a Lord Commissar for the purging and the executing. So trying to keep the line, get the line to hold, stop people running away. We have the lieutenant, who is in charge of this this particular detachment. We're using the company commissar, the company commander stats for him. Then we have the sergeant major, who we're using a platoon commander for. So he's going to be with the these guys in the Chimera and probably one other character, not sure who just yet. We have the Preacher, who will buff units nearby to him by singing his war hymns, getting them all emperored up, and then Tech Priest Engineer to patch up the vehicles. In terms of specialist gubbins stuff, the lieutenant, his warlord trait is Master of Command, which means he can issue an extra order per turn. So he gets to do 3, I believe. I think there's 2 as a base for company commander, then +1 for Master of Command. And if he's standing near his Vox unit, that should spread it out. He should be able to use it within 18 inches rather than just 12. So that should give him a good area of effect. And if he marches his troops effectively, that should give him some good battle order coverage for the battle. The Lord Commissar has the relic, the Emperor's Benediction, which is a bolt pistol. It's a 3-shot bolt pistol, strength 4, -1 AP, 2 damage, and he can ignore the lookouts rule. So in theory, if he's lucky, he could do 6 damage to an enemy character with that in a given shooting phase. If he's lucky. The Weird Vase Psychers, their psychic power, obviously they have Smite, but they have Mental Fortitude, which only casts on a 4+, which is good because these guys only get a single dice for their roll. 12-inch range, unit auto passes morale. So we've got the standard to buff the morale of units nearby, the Commissar Lord, who will automatically execute someone in a unit and prevent other models running. And we have the Weird Veins, who will buff with the mentally fortitudeness to try and prevent units running away, because the Drukhari are scary dairy. But we've got a mix of heavy weapons, some vehicles, decent amount of troops. I like the fact that you've got lots of lesser characters in the Guard. None of them would vaguely stand up to a Space Marine, but there's lots of them, and they're all much better than the individual men, which I like. And we've got some veterans for the first time. I've not used them like this before, so what I've done here is I've taken the other command squad I've got and mixed it in with bits of one of the other troop units I've got. So, you know, some of them have got the veteran badges and some of them haven't. But yeah, pleased with this. I'm looking forward to this very much. This feels like a really nice, kind of mixed, funky, cool 1,000-ish points of Guard. So, checking my list, I think that's everything. Let's look at the Drukhari. And here we have circa 1,000 points, a little bit over, of Drukhari. And this is a real space raid. Real Space Raiding Force. Ironically, I decided to call this little campaign Real Space Raid quite a while ago when I first conceived of it, and then GW have introduced a thing called a Real Space Raiding Party, which is cool. So, Real Space Raiding Parties. Who are they, what are they, and how do they work? So, for those of you not familiar with the new Drukhari Codex, it's a... I mean, the rules, they're incredibly wordy, and they're designed to leave no room for ambiguity in a competitive sense. But basically, the gist is, if you have you can take a single detachment, and as long as you've got an Archon, a Homunculus, and Homunculus, and a Succubus, and one each of the troops, so witches, racks, warriors, then it's a real space raiding force, and you get to have your obsession for your Cabal, for all your Cabal troops, your obsession for your cult, for your for your coven troops, and your obsession for your cult, without losing it because you've got different units in the same detachment. And obviously, your Cabal-like warriors have got to be from the same Cabal as the Archon, and all that shenanigans. So, like I said, it's incredibly wordily worded, designed to avoid the possibility of shenanigans. But yeah, so that is what we have here. So it's interesting to make 1,000-point force, because obviously it means 3 characters and 3 very specific troops, and because they're all so different, it doesn't allow you to specialise. It's not like I've got 3 units of raiders all with 10 witches in, because they synergise in the battlefield very fast, very quick. Cavalite warriors, long range, good and shooty. Racks, they a little bit slower, but they die. They take a lot more to actually kill them. It takes a lot more to actually kill them. So, in 1,000 points, there's not a lot of wriggle room to do other stuff. Especially given that, me being me, the Archon has to have a cut of the Archon. I mean, there's no rule that says it has to have it, but I'm not leaving home without one, because he's massively paranoid, and he needs bodyguards to stop that lot usurping his power and killing him, or that lot stealing his slaves, or that lot stealing his slaves. Yeah, he needs his bodyguards. The other thing that a real space raiding detachment gets you is the Archon in charge of it gets an ability called the Mastermind of the Real Space Raid, or Raid Mastermind, or something like that. And it means that he has an ability that lets all core units in the raiding party reroll 1s to hit when they're within 6 inches of him. So ordinarily, that would not do anything to buff the Coven, or anything to buff the Cult, or anything that isn't a member of his particular Cabal. But he gets that, which is kind of cool. I like that. That's a nice little woohoo. There's also a stratagem you can use that I've always used, because even when you never had to, I've always constructed my armies as a real space raid. There was a rule in a raiding party. It's because you have lots of internecine strife in Commorrogh, and there are some very large groups and some very small groups, but they all band together in an uneasy alliance for a common cause when they go into real space for slaves and for materiel, and generally to raid. So they kind of set aside their differences when they do that, but it's always an uneasy alliance. So I've always used this army as a raiding army. So I've always used this particular stratagem, or to quit the old one, an Alliance of Agony. So as long as you've got an Archon, a Mon-Keigh, and a Succubus, you get to generate a Warlord trait for each of them. So 1 command point, 3 Warlord traits. I think that's a great, great, great deal. So yeah, pleased with that. So we're doing that. So that's a command point spent out of our 6. So before going through all the juicy details, in a real space raid, or in this one, you might have more, but in a real, am I getting that right? I might be misremembering this slightly, but basically you're going to have a Cabal, a Coven, and a Cult. So these guys are the Cabal of the Flayed Skull. Now these guys are the second biggest Cabal, second most powerful Cabal in Commorrogh, after Azabul Vect and his cronies, the Black Heart. So these guys are pretty powerful, and they are all about aerial combat and the sky. They own some of the biggest spires and sky docks in Commorrogh, and their thing is about attacking from the air, supremacy of the air, which is one of the reasons why the Cult of the Red Grief get on so well with them, because they're aerial supremacists as well. So the obsession that the Cabal of the Flayed Skull get is the vehicles get +2 inches to move, which makes it really confusing for me, because all 3 of these vehicles will have different movement characteristics, despite 2 of them being the same. And when a flying unit is shooting at another unit, it doesn't get the benefit of light cover. So if these guys are flying around in their raider, firing all their splinter rifles at some poor guardsmen who are hiding behind a barricade, they don't get the benefit of the barricade because these guys are sort of gaining height and firing down and circumventing it. So that's their thing. The profits of the flesh of this Homunculus coven. It's also the size of the army I was saying. It's one of the reasons why I've got two quite small troop units for these two. In bigger games, that won't be the case. It'll obviously be as big as I can get them with the models that I've got. But it was either a case of just have all the troops and transports and almost nothing else, or mix it up a little bit with some smaller units. So I chose to do that. So profit of the flesh. They get 2 perks for their obsession. Their characters, and I think it also applies to grotesques and monsters, but the characters are the only one that's relevant for this fight, regain a wound at the start of each turn. So they're regenerating, they're sort of knitting themselves back together. And any model with this particular obsession is never wounded on a roll to wound of 1, 2, or 3, unless the strength is 8 or higher. So basically, if you're hitting these guys with a strength, a weapon that's strength 7 or less, you will never wound them on less than a 4-up, which is kind of cool. They used to get like a bonus toughness, or no, it was a bonus invulnerable save, which used to mean they could take las cannons to the face, which I like. A las cannon should core one of these guys rather than just, you know, blow their torso off and they go, what? So yeah, I prefer that. I prefer that. And they've changed the invulnerable save to a shrug, a 5-up shrug. So yeah, you could clip one of these guys with a las cannon and it just takes off a bit they don't need. But, you know, you hit him centre mass, he's not walking away from it. And then last but by no means least, the Court of the Red Grief. These ladies reroll charges and also add 2 inches to advance. Now, when you combine that with the Power from Pain ability, Eager to Flay, which means you can advance and charge, these are super quick and super deadly. So Power from Pain is an army-wide ability, which you get sort of like a minor ability each turn, but they stack, they're cumulative, and it represents the fact that as things are dying around them, they are feeding off the life essence. And then we have the mercenaries. We have the Scourges and we have the Mandrakes. I'll go into a little bit of detail about those in a minute. So, unit-wise, we have 10 Cabalite Warriors. The unit leader doesn't have anything special. He's just got his gun. Just a splinter rifle. There's a shredder in there and a splinter cannon. These guys fly around in this raider, which has splinter axe and the trophies, I think. Yes, it's got the trophies and a dark lance. The Court of the Archon. So these are his guy. These are his bodyguard. They're his personal preferred retinue. Who doesn't trust this lot? Not at all. 2 slits. Toughness 5, I think. 3 wounds. With shard carbines, they're kind of shooty, kind of choppy. They can get in the way and take wounds for the Archon. The Lilliman is a poison specialist who, so she has a poison weapon in close combat that can potentially do mortal wounds. And the Medusa is a weird webway beast that's been captured. That it does this really cool thing where it looks at something and kind of melts their spirit, and it kind of absorbs it into his brain. You see his brain, and what the Archon will do is just occasionally like pick lumps off this guy's brain and eat them, and that gives him knowledge about the things that he's looked at, i.e. killed, which is pretty cool. We have a Venom for these guys to fly around in. The Archon has the Warlord trait, Famed Savagery. +1 strength, +1 attack. It is said of the Lords of the Flayed Skull that they can, once they've struck the killing blow, they can flay the skin off the skull before the body hits the floor. Yes. So there. The Homunculus has got... he's a diabolical soothsayer, his warlord trait, which gives him +1 toughness and +1 wound. He's got a lot of bits and bobs here. He's got a scissor hand, which is a combat weapon. He's got a stinger, which is a pistol. An eye-core injector, which does mortal wounds. Lots of stuff. I'll come to it when he uses them. The unit have got rack weapons, except the unit champion, an Akathist, has got a liquefy gun, which is basically like a flamer, and a scissor hand, which is a multiple attack, snippy close combat weapon. The Scourges, these guys are some of the sellswords of Commorrogh. They live on the spires and act as messengers to the cabals and the cults. They are incredibly well protected because a hand-carried message by a Scourge is the only way of ensuring it hasn't been tampered with. So these guys, they become Scourges by going under the knife at these from a Homunculus to have these wings grafted on. And if they can make it to the top of the spire without being killed, they can join a Scourge pack, and they grant the protection because it's pain of death do you kill a Scourge in Commorrogh. But these guys, they become very rich, and as such, they can all afford lots of very, very tasty weapons. So 5 of these guys, plus the Solarite, all have shard carbines, which are a shootier poisoned gun. In the unit, we've got a haywire cannon, we've got a blaster, we've got a heat lance, and a dark lance. These guys will be dropping in from Deep Strike. They also have better armour than everyone else. They have a 4+ save. The Witches. The Succubus, her warlord trait is hyper swift reflexes. In melee, she is never hit on the roll of a 1, 2, or 3. I like that. That rule used to give her a 3+ invulnerable save, but I like the fact that they just don't hit her. So it shows that they have thought about some of the codex, just not other bits. But I won't get onto a rant about that. I'm going to do a live stream at some point and ramble on about Drukhari and the new codex. She has a relic. She has the Triptych Whip, which is strength user, -3 AP, 2 damage each, poison weapon on a 2+, and +3 attacks, which is super nice. Every witch unit gets combat drugs. The Succubus is on Painbringer, which gives her +1 toughness, and the unit of witches is on Adrenalite, which gives them +1 attack if they charge or perform a heroic intervention. Ironically, not if they are charged. Then we have the Mandrakes, who are appearing from the Shadow Realm to inflict pain and suffering and then disappear back. So these guys can deep strike. They are able to turn pain and suffering into balefire, I think it's called, which is an assault weapon, sort of energy they pulse out their fists, and they're also pretty choppy. These are the stuff that nightmares are made of. And also sell their services to the Archon. Their price might be a little bit more esoteric. It might be the tear of a newborn, or the last breath of a virgin, or it's all terribly weird and not very well understood. And these guys are really afraid of them because they think they represent, there's varying opinions, but they think they actually represent the shadows of themselves in the Shadow Realm, and they can enter. You're never safe because you're never free from your own shadow. So if you cross one, they can always get you. Anyway, I've rambled for far too long about Drukhari. Let's go to objectives and deployment. So here we are after deployment and objectives, and it's cat and mousey, it really is. Now, I've left my marker dice on for deployment zones to show you, to illustrate some things whilst I talk you through it. So, yeah, dice there, centre of the table, marks out this deployment zone, marks out this deployment zone. Now, the first thing is the Guard want to be static on their objectives to hold them. So they are. And the Drukhari don't want to sit on their objectives. They want to go forward, but equally they don't want the Mon-Keigh getting at them either. So the Guard put their objectives on the back line. Now, initially it was quite tempting to really castle up in a very traditional Guard way. I mean, I could have put an objective way back here and so on. But I've spread them out a little bit more than I originally intended. And I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, I possibly could have, should have spread them out a bit more. I guess that's the difference in an army that wants to get really close and an army that wants to stay quite a way away. It's made the decisions a bit polar. However, the Guard had loads of drops because 5 characters, tanks, walkers, troops, heavy support, elites, and so on. And the Drukhari have 5. So they've got the 2 Venoms, the Raider, the Rax, and the Homunculus, the Mon-Keigh. So by putting a small number of units down first in predictable places, the Guard guy was able to force the Drukhari guy to put everything down before he then started deploying the rest of his forces. But before I get totally onto that, so this objective here, that's actually the Drukhari objective. Now, it's a double-edged sword, that, from a Drukhari point of view, because they can get onto that and hold that pretty easily, and it's quite close to where they're going to be operating with all their fast vehicles zipping around. However, it's also pretty close for the humans to go and get it, and that's 2 points for them. That's a bit of a risk. The other objectives, they're more about just denying them to the enemy. So I'm going to, maybe there's something in these crates that might be prized in Commorrogh. Maybe they are like flesh parts or something, like Astartes organs. Why would they be Astartes organs on this planet? No. What could conceivably be in there? I don't know. Maybe it's medical records. Maybe it's medical records and samples from the local platoon that the Homunculus wants in order to fiddle about with. Maybe it's something like that. And then this tower, their other objective is here. And I think part of this is because of the key cover it provides in later turns. It's a sort of hit and run shelter. But from a playing point of view, really what I want to do is deny these objectives to the Imperial Guard guy, because he's not got anything that quick. He's not got aircraft. He's not got Rough Riders. He's not got tons of Chimerae. So really these are about denying. So the objective, it's a risky game for the Drukhari, this, because the objectives I want are back here. I think what the Drukhari are probably going to have to do is chomp their way through a lot of the Guard and then take the objectives in later game turns. I guess that represents them hauling off the crippled people that they've savaged with their poisons and they fell but not killed, and then they start hauling them off whilst they're on the objectives. But what this meant was, so going back to the Guard guy tried to force the Drukhari guy's hand, was he had sort of these main troop units down, like just put a commissar with them, took a drop. And it felt like that was a good place to put those racks, because it was in my deployment zone, and I could maybe get close to this in the centre if I needed to hold it, or I could maybe rush over here to these conscripts and maybe get that objective, and that'd be festive. So I put them there. Then the other guy did a bit of measuring and went, yeah, I can totally put a 11 Rust tank there. I was like, There was a bit of umming and ahhing about where to put these veterans, because I have put them awfully close to the Drukhari line. I did contemplate just parking the Layman Russ and the Chimera there and taking that objective in turn 1. But it all depends what happens, because these Drukhari have got some nasty, nasty guns. And the Mandrakes are in reserve and the Scourges are in reserve. So they are going to drop on the table, and wherever they land, they... I was going to say they're going to wreak some carnage. And the reason I'm sighing is because the last time I used those Scourges, by the end of the game I threatened to throw them into a mincer because they were so bad. They didn't do what Scourges are meant to do. In fact, in the end, I charged them into a Bard Predator to teach them a lesson. Back in 8th Ed, when everything automatically overwatched. That learned them. No, lots of 1s and 2s. Every turn. Every time I've used them. Anyway, I digress. So, that's the plan. That's how it ended up. We know it's dark in turn 1 and the sun is coming up somewhere that isn't here, because the Drukhari wouldn't be foolish enough to attack into the sunrise. But we don't know which of the other edges it's going to, because obviously they've had to do a bit of manoeuvring, so maybe they intended the sun to be behind them, but actually it's to the side of them. Okay, so without much further ado, let's go to first turn. Right, these dice are both the same colour. First dice is for the Drukhari, then for the Guard. Right, Guard, do you want first turn? Well, if I have first turn, what am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to go around there and execute those racks, and probably the Homunculus as well, and shoot them with the tank. What else am I going to do? Advance onto that objective and get 2 points for it. I think I want first turn. Yeah, Imperial Guard, turn 1. Okay, so there were a number of options for the Guard's first turn. I wanted to see if I could get the Layman Russ right the way up here to get in range of the... not in range, but to be able to see that raider with the battle cannon. If I measure cannon to shock prow, it reaches, but, you know, I don't do that kind of thing. It doesn't feel right. So... I kept him at half move, and the Sentinel keeping pace with him. So they're going to put the hurt onto these racks. I contemplated moving the conscripts around to start to get some fire into there. I thought I could issue some orders. Oh, hang on, no, I can't. Did I even talk through the rest of my deployment? I don't think I did. So Weird Vein Psychers here in order to buff nearby units. General Dude there, or the LT there, to be able to issue orders and control the battlefield. Banner there to do some buffage. Heavy weapons. There's lots of units on and near this objective. They're really going to have to swarm over here if they want it. And they haven't got the luxury of lots of similar units. And this also protected a little bit by these outlying units from incursion. So, yeah, that's why that deployment there did that thing. But in the end, I think I've decided not to rush the infantry forward and make this turn about objectives. So the veterans are doing what veterans do, and have gone forward and claimed that objective, and are going to put fire down into these Eldari that they see as they get closer. So it's going to be about scoring objectives this turn, and the Guard at the end of this turn will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's a Drukhari objective, 5 sweet points. Yeah. First things first, though, Psychic Phase. These guys are going to try and cast Mental Fortitude. It's a 4 to cast with a +2 because of the size of the unit. Whoa, okay, a 10. So that's cast. These guys will not fail a morale test. They auto pass morale now. Right, the shooting phase. What order to do this in? I think we will start with the Chimera. First off then, a heavy flamer for D6 shots, which I could choose to reroll, but I'm totally not going to. Brand new codex. What's the toughness of a rack? I had better check. Okay, base toughness of a rack is 4, plus 1 because they're within range of the aura of the Homunculus, so 5s. So wounding on 5s. 2 wounds. -1, so invulnerable saves of 6+. 1 passed, and then shrugging on a 5+. No, so that's a dead rack. Start with one of those dead. Then we have a heavy bolter. 1 hit. Doesn't wound. Now we have 2 lasgun arrays. These are rapid fire 3 that are within 6 inches. That's 12 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's counting with Say Hi Paul today. No 4s. Well, yeah, they should hit on 3s because it's the veterans firing them. But let's say the interface with the Chimera isn't that sophisticated. It's just them, the fact that they have to turn it on and go, fire that way. Strength 3, wounding on 5s. Whoa. That's pretty good. 4 wounds, saving on 6s. 1. Shrugging on 5s. 2. Another one dies. Okay, then we have the plasma cannon from the Armoured Sentinel. Oh, does he have an overcharge? Oh, quick checking. He does have an overcharge, however, there's no way the pilot would know that they aren't going to dissolve to plasma, so I'm just going to fire the regular version, the strength 7, which won't win them very well. For 3 shots, no need to re-roll. Now 4s, 1 hit. Wounding on a 4. No, there we go. The thingy making sense. Maybe he'll overcharge it next time. Right then. I had been hoping to kill the unit so I could put all the fire into the big thing in the middle. But actually the big thing in the middle is not within range of the big thing in the middle isn't within range of a unit to be safe from it. So what I think I'll do, I think I'll randomise my shots, because to all intents and purposes that's just a unit I'm shooting at. So heavy bolter shots, what I'll do is I'll roll to determine who I'm shooting at first. 1 to 3 against the unit, 4 against the Homunculus, 5 or 6 reroll. Okay, lots of rerolls. And keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Come on. You never roll that many dice when I need you to. Okay, so 4 shots at the Homunculus and 2 at the unit. 2 at the unit, 1 hits. And wounds. Invulnerable save of 6? No. 5 plus shrug. Yes, didn't need that bit. Now, the Homunculus, he has an extra toughness and an extra wound because of his warlord trait. What's he start with? He starts with a toughness of 4, which is up to 5 because he's within range of himself, which makes it 6. So these are wounding on 5s. Ah! 1 wound. Save of 6 up, invulnerable? No. Shrugging on a 5? No. Takes a wound. He's got 6 on his profile, plus the 1 for his warlord trait. So he's got 6 left. So that was the heavy bolter. The 2 last cannons, who are they shooting at? Okay, one's going to hit a rack, one's going to hit him. The one on the rack hits. Wounds. Invulnerable? No. D6 damage for 1. Shrug on a 5? No. Kills another rack. The one on the Homunculus hits. Wounds on a 3, because this is higher than strength 8. Wounds. Invulnerable save of 6+. No. D6 damage for 6 or centre mass. And he will attempt to shrug them on 5s. He shrugs 2 of them, putting him down to 2 wounds remaining. So we fire the battle cannon. Now, because this is a big explosion, I'll roll the type and then... Oh, I can't do that rules-wise, can I? But that's what feels narratively right, you know? So I'm going to roll the type, 2, and then randomise who I'm shooting at with them. I know that's not technically right, but... I mean, he's just landing a shell there. So they're both at the unit. Hitting on 4s. 1. Wounding on a 3. 3. But it is strength 3. It's strength toughness 5. So yeah, it is a 3. So no. But grinding of... No. Forgot about the re-rolling. Drat. Right, but I do get to fire it again because of grinding advance. With a 5, which I'm not going to re-roll. So I forgot to roll it on the one occasion I would have wanted to re-roll it. Right, who are they going to hit? They're all hitting the 2 remaining racks. Okay, and they are wounding the racks. Strength 8, so wounding the racks on 3s. Invulnerable saves of 6+. 2 of them? How much damage does a battle cannon do these days? It's been a while. Layman Russ, battle cannon, ooh, D3. D3 twice. Okay, so 2 shrugs on this guy, dead. 1 shrug on this guy, dead. So the unit of racks are dead. However, the Homunculus is still very much alive, and I must confess to be pretty surprised about that. He is tough. Toughness 6 with 7 wounds. An invulnerable save. Okay, it's only a 6 up. And a shrug. Okay. Is there anything else I can fire at him? Not that can see him because it's dark. I think that is the end of Guard turn 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points scored. Right, let's go on to Drukhari turn 1. So the Drukhari have called a standard manoeuvre, which I like to call, there's a big gun over there, let's be somewhere else. And this is a repositioning turn for the Drukhari. I did contemplate swarming over here and getting the scourges down and getting some heavy weapons into the Layman Russ, but with a bit of line of sight checking, if I just put this building in between me and it, it's relatively limited for a turn. I mean, okay, it can come backwards, so it can get some line of sight, but it is restricted. It's got to do the hokey cokey. So instead, the objective for this turn is get some distance up the board with a couple of these units and take out that tank and clear off that objective. That is, well, so I would also like to destroy these 3 heavy weapons, but I think take out that tank, take out those veterans in there is priority 1, then this heavy weapons unit is priority 2. Is the way I'm thinking of this. The Homunculi gained a wound at the start of the turn because that's what they do. That's what he does anyway. And he can potentially put some fire into the passengers out of there and even charge them if necessary. Okay, so we will kick off the shooting phase with the Scourges. Now, I'm in 2 minds now. Oh, I said I could have done that instead. I've kept the Mandrakes off for the time being. I did contemplate bringing them in here and shooting down and killing these off. I'm now wondering if I should have done that. You see, there's a stratagem called Potent Metallotoxin. Potent Metallotoxins. It's a 2 command point stratagem. Poison weapons wound on normally a 4+, or whatever the number says for that particular weapon. But it doesn't affect vehicles. The Metallotoxin stratagem means that it will affect vehicles. So I've got 15 shard shots from in there, which I originally thought I'll put into this unit here. Should do them some decent damage. And I also thought, as a backup, I could put metallatoxins into the Chimera from the passengers on this boat. I'm wondering if I should do the metallatoxins first. No. Let's see how this works. Let's see if they're any better than they used to be. So all the anti-vehicle gun is going to go into the Chimera. All the shards are going to go into this unit here. So we'll do the shards first, because I know those off the top of my head. There's 6 of them, not 5. 2, 3, 4. 6 more dice. 2 more. Into this unit here. Hitting on 3s. And then just straight old wounding on 4s. And they're behind the barricade, so they're going to get +1 cover, so saving on 4s. Nothing. Not a single one. Okay, good sturdy Imperial fortifications and armour. They're just full of like porcupine quills going, don't touch them! It's just like, don't touch them! We'll pull them out later. The medic will pull them out later. Right, now the Chimera. I'm going to need to look up all these weapons. Okay, so apologies, I'm going to be reading these one at a time. Heat Lance is heavy 1, so they moved, hitting on a 4. No, the Grinder beckons, the Mincer beckons. The Haywire Blaster, heavy D3. 1, which missed, getting minced. Heat Lance, heavy 1, hitting on a 4. No. And Dark Lance, heavy 1, hitting on a 4. No. Okay. That is 165 points of shuffle. Right, okay. So I'm not going to kill the Chimera. You see, what I'm thinking is, should I just cut my losses and just put the fire down into here and get a kill for the heavy weapons team, so I don't have these heavy weapons coming back in next turn? Because in order to kill that now, I'm going to have to put the Dark Lance into it, and then all the rapid fire shots from the Cabalite warriors. I'm starting with the Lance. The Dark Lance is going into it. It's going to hit on a 3. Hits. Wounding on a 3. Strength 8, toughness 7. 4. -3, I think it is. 6 of save? No. And I think now Dark Lance is a D3 +3. Raider, Dark Lance. It was AP -4, not 3. D3 +3 damage. For 5 damage. So it's got 5 remaining. Okay, well, there are 2 Splinter Cannons over there that have no other targets. So I'm going to fire both of those, even though they're not going to wound. Even though they're basically strength 3, so they'll only wound on 6s, because the poison rule will have no effect. But let's give them a go. So they're hitting on 3s, and then wounding on 6s. I guess that's sort of getting the poison through the air vents and so on. 2. -1 for Splinter Cannon, so saves a 4+. 1 fail, and it does 2 damage. That's obviously a vial of very acidic or corrosive gas. sort of shattered against it and started to eat away at some of the rubber seals. Okay, 3 wounds remaining. The Homunculus has got a stinger. What can that do? I think it's just a strength 2 poison weapon. 1 damage. Homunculus. Stinger pistol. Yeah, strength 2, 1 damage, poison weapon. That's not going to do anything, is it? Oh, I wonder if the Camelite Warriors can use haywire grenades. Oh. So it's new codex, you see. We're learning together. Camelite Warriors. No. No, they can't. So... is there any real benefit in killing the Chimera? Well, obviously there is. Right, you'd have to watch my indecision. I'm going to go and do the indecision in private and come back to you with the outcome. Okay, right, I'm going to fire the Shredder and the Shuriken Cannon and the Splinter Cannon down here, because at least if I kill one of these, it's proportional. The amount of incoming fire I reduce is proportional. And then I'll spend the 2 command points on the Metallotoxins for all the Splinter Rifle fire, and fire those at the Chimera. So, first off, the Shredder is D6. It is a blast weapon, but the unit isn't big enough for that to count. Hitting on 3s. 2 hits. -1. They don't get the bonus to cover for being on the other side of the pipe because of the Cabal of the Played Skull's trait. So -1, saves of 5s. 6s, sorry. Okay, so that's 2 dead. That's 2 wounds, so that kills one of the bases. Now we have the Splinter Cannon, which is heavy, and the guy carrying it isn't a vehicle, so we'll only hit on 4s. But 3 6s work. Poison 4+. No, nothing. Okay, so at least one of them died. But there are 16 shots with the Metallotoxin. Ooh, now I've worked out how to pronounce that. I think that trips off the tongue really nicely. Metallotoxin. Metallotoxin. Hitting on 3s. They used to get all sorts of rerolls and things for these guys, but they don't anymore. Splinter Racks used to give you... oh, something. I can't remember. Too many rules. Wounding on 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Need to 6 even. Needs to be a little bit better than average. It needs to be exactly average. Saves of 3+. No better than average I need. 1, 2, 3. That is better than average. It's gone. Is it? Does it explode? It does not. Right, there are 12 guardsmen in that. Dwayne and die. 2, obviously they choke on the Metallotoxin, get it all over their armour, it starts to melt through them as well. Right, let me get those out. Okay, these guardsmen, these veterans are consummate heroes of Ultramar. They are the pinnacle of human-trained warriors. Well, all right, no, they're not. They're the pinnacle of guardsmen. And they have disembarked forward. Not even a sniff of retreat. Let's see how that works out for them. Oh, the Homunculus can fire a gun now. Oh, the page is doing the thing. Hang on. Right, the Homunculus will fire a stinger. Hit on a 2. Wounding on a 2. Save a 5? No. Kills a guy. Yo! Your misfortune was only bringing a lasgun. Right, the rest of his abilities are in combat. Yeah, so What's that? So I'm thinking about what that Raider's got. Raiders used to be halfway decent in a fight, especially against Guardsmen equivalent. Raider. Weapon skill 4 up, 3 attacks. Does it have chain snares? No. Doesn't have chain snares. Has a shock prow. Let's charge the Raider in. Okay, well, Overwatch, obs. 2 melter guns. No. Las cannon. No. D6 flamer hits for 6. Wounding on 5s. 2. Saving on 4s. 1 wound taken. It's got how many left? 9 remaining. Just put those in there for the minute. What else we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Strength 3 shots. Sorry, 8 strength 3 shots. 1. Running on a 6. No. Okay. So the raid. You should roll the dice. 12. The Raider is in. And then the Homunculus is going to charge as well on 6. And he gets in also. Now there's a shock prow card. Bear with me. Okay, so for 1 command point, if the enemy unit is not a vehicle, roll 1d6 for each model the enemy unit is within engagement range of. So how many are we talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4... and the priest. 4 and the priest. If I exceed the toughness, the unit takes mortal wounds. Okay. So the toughness is 3. So every 4 or more... Is it equal or exceed? Equals or exceed. So that's 3 or more on these. So a massive burst of energy has just obliterated 4 people and given the priest something to think about. Oh my god! So at the end of the charge phase, the Sergeant Major has heroically intervened into the Homunculus, and the priest can't because he was in engagement range of the shock prow unit. Right, the Homunculus's turn. He's got a scissor hand and an I-core injector. The I-core injector, if it hits, it'll just do a mortal wound. Oh, actually, do I want to use the scissor hand, or should I use the Homunculus tools because they wound on a 2+? I think I want to do that actually. So we're gonna go for I-core injector against the. I don't want to be hit by that power fist. Everything into the guy with the power fist. I can work out what a threat is. Okay, I-core injector. Hits. Does a mortal wound. Right, Homunculus tools. Hitting on 2s. 5 hits. Wounding on 2s. 4 wounds. Saves of 5+. None. 5 wounds. The Sergeant Major is going for a little sleep. Hopefully he won't wake up in Commorrogh. Hashtag he's definitely waking up in Commorrogh. Can't pile in with the Raider because the Raider's in engagement range of the priest. So the Raider's going to have to attack the priest on 4s. 2 hits. 1 wound. Saves with his Rosarius. The Emperor protects. Okay, so now we've got 3 attacks by Guardsmen against the Homunculus. 2 hits. 1 wound, which is saved. And then the priest has... Oh no, hang on. They each get an extra attack because of the priest giving them extra attacks. Homunculus takes another wound, goes back down to 2. Now the priest himself... Sorry, we're book juggling. Look at the pretty stuff. You can't have the power sword anymore. He's modelled with. But I'll say he's got the chain sword. That's the nearest equivalent, which gives him 5 attacks, hitting on 4s. But he's a zealot. It's just a shame he's trying to hit a tank. Zealot, reroll. Whoa, 5 hits. Yes, come on. Strength 3. 6 is to... Oh, is it 5 or 6 for a raid? Or I think raid is a 5 and venom's a 6. But sorry, I meant that the other way around. Yes, that's right. Okay, so he's only going to win those 6s, tragically. 1. Save the 4+. Yes. Right. So that combat is resolved, I think. Does the Homunculus do anything to their leadership? Your leadership. Sorry, there's lots of book time tonight. I apologise. Master of Pain, Fleshcraft, Blade Artist, Sensible Pain, Power Pain. No. Okay, so they've lost 7 models this turn, so they need a 1 to stay. They don't get a 1. So one is going to run, and the other one will run a 1 or a 2. Runs, the unit's gone. And the Drukhari have 2 models on that objective, and the Imperium have 1, so Drukhari claim that objective at the end of the turn. Oh, did these guys fail? They lost a guy. 4 is not enough. They're fine. So, that's the end of turn 1. Now the sun's going to come up. So we know it's not going to be on this table edge. We know it'll be on one of these 3, depending on how well Drukhari manoeuvred. So a d6 roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. The sun is over here. So anyone firing in that direction is -1 to hit. Then in turn 3 it'll be over there. Turn 4 it'll be over there. And turn 5 it'll be dark again. Okay, Imperial Guard, turn 2. Okay, so at the end, this is the movement phase in turn 2 for the Astra Militarum. The Lehman Russ has reversed and has got a good line of sight on that raider. The conscript's being ordered on by the Commissar, who looks like he's about to hack one of their heads off as he's urging them on. They and the Armoured Sentinel are making a push for the enemy deployment zone. Their mission is to cut off their escape whilst their reinforcements arrive. And that is all the movement for the Guard this turn, because the other mobile elements of the army, such as they were, have been taken out. So now we come to the psychic phase. We're going to have the same again. Mental Fortitude on a 4+. 1 + 2 is a 3. That's a fail. Ah, well. Okay, now we go to the shooting phase and start issuing orders. So the LT, first order, is going to issue take aim to the heavy weapon squad against the Ravager. No, Raider. And that is reroll hits of 1. It's the last cannon. Misses. The missile launcher hits, wounding on a 3. Wounds, save on a 5+. No, d6 damage for 6 damage. Bang! Center mass. It's belching smoke. It's belching shadow. The night field that surrounds it is flickering, and yeah, in a desert, a tiny globe of wandering darkness is an easy target. Okay, so we're then going to move on to next order we're going to issue to this unit. First rank fire, second rank fire against to the unit. So the las guns are now rapid fire 2, but because of our doctrine, we are rapid firing at 18 inches. So all that gun is going to the Scourges, and the las cannon is going into the back of the Raider. So we'll do the las cannon first. Hits. Wounds on a 3. Wounds. Invulnerable save of 5+, which is failed and does D6 damage. For 5. Does it explode? It doesn't explode, but there are 10 Xenos on there. 10 Xenos filth, 2 of whom don't make it. Stop the press! So the last cannon rolled a 4 to hit, and the sun's over there, so it's -1, so it missed. I was just putting the models out, and then I thought, oh, hang on, what did I roll to hit? Because I said I'd forget. Okay, so the other gun is all going into the Scourges. I need to do some measuring, I think. So that Scourge has managed to position himself in range of the heavy flamer. Silly Scourge. For 5 hits. Uh-oh. Wounding on 3s. Saving. What's -1, so 5 to save. Okay, so 3 die from that. 3 dead there. And then we have 4 shots per lasgun with 6 lasgun. Hang on. Enjoy the view of the table for a moment. Right. First rank, fire. That doesn't count. First rank, fire. Second rank, fire. Hitting on 4s. I don't know why I'm picking out the hits. That's not the way to do it. That's a breach of etiquette. Alright, that's all the hits. Wounding on 4s. 7 wounds. Saving on 4s. 1, 2, 3 more dice. That's 6 dead in total. And I just noticed I hadn't fallen the preacher back out of combat, so I've done that now. So last order to be issued is bring it down to this squad, because I get 3 orders because of my warlord trait. So they're going to reroll 1s to wound. So first off, crack missile. Oh yeah, the Raider. Even the last guns missed. Crack grenade. Hits. Wounding on a 4, rerolling 1s. Wounds. -1, saving for 5+. No, D3 damage. For 2, it has 1 wound left, and there are 6 lasgun shots. 2 hits, wounding on 6s. No, 1 wound remaining. Okay, so we've got 2 crack grenades in this unit. And 2 lasguns, so we'll do those as well. 2 crack grenades. Both hit, because these are vets. Wounding on 4s, 1 wound. Saving a 5. Nope. D3, that's got it. Does it explode? It does not. 1, 2, 3, 4. No one died. Okay. Okay, so the Lehman Russ has lost its main target because it's been shot out the air. So I guess maybe they fire simultaneously and the shells just pass through where the Raider was. Or maybe not. So his main targets, his heavy bolters are in range of the Scourges, so it really sucks to be them. And the battle cannon and las cannon are going to fire at this Raider. Now, that's got the Archon in it. So the Archon's not having any of that, so we were all prepared to use 2 command points for lightning fast reactions to have an extra -1 to hit. And they brought it down to 1 command point. Ha ha ha! Handy. So it's -2 to hit because of the flicker field as well. So, first off, let's see if the Scourges are going in the mincer. Hitting on 4s. There's no minus for shooting at them. Wounding on 3s. Saving on 5s. 1 left. No, sorry. 2 left. Ugh. Be minced. Right, the last cannon hitting on a 6. Wounding on a 3. Saving on a 5 plus invulnerable. Oh dear. D6 damage. Well, on the plus side, I don't need to bother rolling the battle cannon. Does it explode? It does not. Wow. Okay. I Oh, does anyone die on board? 5 models on board. No, no one dies. Oh, bit of beard. Would you credit that? Okay. I thought that was it for the shooting phase, but I found another gun. Believe it or not, the conscript's actually advanced. The Sentinel, the Armored Sentinel, fires plasma cannon at the warriors. 1 shot, but I'll re-roll that. 2 shots, hitting on 4s, 2 hits, killing on 2s. 2 dead. Oh no! 2 wounds, but we're invulnerable saves of 6+, of course. 2 dead. As you were. So, we come to morale. The warriors, 5, 6, 7, they're fine. The Scourges, on the other hand, significantly less than fine. 2 plus 8 is 10. That's definitely a fail. 1 runs, as does the other one. They take off back into the sky. So the Drukhari have had an absolute mauling. The sun has come up probably earlier than they anticipated, and they have been caught in significant guard fire. And the Scourges need to go to mincer. So at the end of guard turn 3, they score 1, 2, 3 points, making the score 8-1 at the end of turn. At the end of Imperial Guard turn 1. I got distracted then because I was reading the thing. I've actually written Mon-Keigh filth on the scoreboard. So I was like, it's Drukhari 1, Mon-Keigh filth. No, hang on, don't say that out loud. That will portray bias. I'm not biased. I'd just been doing Drukhari stuff when I was writing the scoreboard out. Okay, so 3 points to the guard. The Drukhari are running out of assets, and they've lost a lot of their mobility. If that was still there, I'd have fancied the chances a bit more. It's just a case now of thinking where I can maximise the damage I can do. I mean, realistically, what I want to do is I want to take out these conscripts. I want to bring the Mandrakes in and murderise these conscripts, and sort of bring these guys around here and assist with the murderisation, and then get onto this objective. But this Layman Russ has a commanding field of fire. There's now nothing we can do about that. The best gun we've got is strength 6. No, I tell a lie. One of the witches has got a blast pistol. It's a long way to go with a blast pistol, with that thing firing at you. So and there's not, where the tank is positioned, it's very well positioned. There's not a lot of line of sight blocking terrain to hide behind. I mean, I'm behind it. I thought I'd snuck behind it earlier. I didn't realise the Layman Russ reversing would be that effective. So I mean, I can probably do some real damage over here. I mean, that's going to be quite easy. It's just then how to remain alive afterwards, because I just get punished turn on turn. I guess, I mean, maybe that's the thing. Maybe if I make it difficult for the guard to score points and then get a couple of these objectives in my turn, maybe I can pull it back. We shall see. Right, tape measure time. Okay, there was much umming and ahhing. So I did contemplate running the Archon back over here and sitting on this objective on the basis that he doesn't want to just get brutally murdered. And, you know, he's an Archon, so he doesn't want to get brutally murdered. But I think if we can survive turn 3, there's a reasonable amount of natural cover around here, so we could potentially cause some havoc. If we manage to get... So we've got the witches out and advanced, but we're now... Eager to Flay is now in effect, which is Power from Pain level 2. We can advance and charge army-wide. Whoever gets Power from Pain can do it. So there's going to be charging here. This unit of Guardsmen is Jambred dead. So, in theory, we get that objective 2 points. Oh, I didn't write down the guard score for last turn. Need to do that in a second. Sorry, I'm looking over at the scoreboard. The Mandrakes, I've elected to bring in over here. I couldn't find somewhere to put them where they could take out a target or charge a target. Because of the way this guard line is deployed, there's just nowhere to sneak up. So, put them over here to give the Layman Russ something to think about. We'll take a massive chunk out of the conscript. Okay, they won't all run because the Commissar will just cap the first one who looks a bit twitchy. But we should take a big chunk out of them with shooting. Then I can potentially go back. I can disappear back into reserve next turn, should I want to, should I survive. But they're -1 to hit anyway, these guys, because they're made of shadow. And they can do lightning fast reactions. So, in theory, they're a little bit more survivable. And it will make the Layman Russ go over there. Which is why, so the Archon has ordered the Mandrakes in to distract that tank whilst he's making a run for the back line over here. Woeful advance rolls over here to try and get towards these objectives. I did think of sitting there, but you know what? After one turn of Guardsmen fire, they won't be there, so it'll just be a point. I'd rather get close and try and stop him shooting. So that's what I'm doing. The Homunculus gained a point to start the turn, a wound, sorry. Ignoring that priest, he's irrelevant. And that is what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So, shooting phase. Let's murder some conscripts. Assault 2, 2 shots each, hitting on 3s. Good grief, that's a lot of misses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot. Strength 4, wounding on 3s. With a -1. We're not murdering a lot of conscripts. The 6s do mortal wounds as well, so that's 2 dead. And then these will get to save on 6s. One of the flak armor saves them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 dead. Nearest 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, they'll stop and think. Then a 9-inch charge for the Archon and his court. No. Okay. Any other charge? Oh, what's... Just out of interest. What's the charge range over here now? 11. Would you risk the Overwatch for an 11? Would it be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22? I mean, I would like to kill them. 22 shots on an 11. Go on. Why not? Why not? Well, it's very unlikely to succeed and you'll lose more than you'll possibly like to gain. Okay, but, you know, no guts, no glory. That's a 3. Right. I'll do the Overwatch. Okay. The Venom and these guys, they're all charging. The Venom will go in first. So Overwatch, las cannon, misses. Flamer. 2. The way I see it is that's charging in and these guys have just leapt off it. So I think that's the bigger target, is why. Saves. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Nope. Nothing. Okay, the Venom. 4-inch charge. Dink. And then the combined Witches and Succubus. 7. Okay, the Court of the Archon. The Medusa's Eye Burst is a 12-inch range auto hitting pistol weapon. For 3 hits. Strength 4, -2. 1 at -2 behind a barricade. Saving on a 6? No. So that guy there, who didn't keep his head down, caught the gaze of the Medusa. Right, 2 shard carbines from the slits. Hitting on those. They're all going to enjoy the benefit of the rerolls to hit, aren't they? Ones to hit, because they're next to the master of the cock-up. Wounding on 4s. Uno, save on a 4. Yes. Nothing doing there. Witches can't fire the pistols because they ran. I suppose the Lord can fire his pistol, the Archon, but doesn't wound. Right, the Raider. Ordinarily, I'd say shoot at these and kill them, but I want to charge them. Of course, just watch now, I won't charge them. But see, they're not so much of a worry now, because, okay, each hit of those will core a Cavalite Warrior, but it's the Master Lasgun fire I'm more concerned about. Maybe that's the answer. But if I'm firing that way, I'm got the sun in my eyes. I did flirt with the idea of using the toxin thing on the metallotoxin to try and take some notches off the land of the Lehman Russ, but the odds are just so stacked against it. Do I want to whittle the Weird Veins or whittle the Guardsmen over here? The Guardsmen, I think. The Weird Veins will be close to this lot. Alright, so the Venom is firing at this unit. Guardsmen hit -1 because the sun's up. Didn't matter. Hitting on 4s. Wounding on 3s. 4s, sorry, because poison. -1, saving 5s. No, 2 very dead Guardsmen. Because 2 damage each. Ooh, no, that belongs there. Okay. Is that all the shooting? I think that's all the shooting, Bob. Really? Yeah, really. Alright. Just spotted the fact I didn't use prepared positions on the... do I mean prepared positions? Defensible. So the Overwatch should have hit on a 5. There were 3 that would have hit on 5 the last guns against the Venom. That's 2 wounds. Neither of which were saved. So it's down to 4 wounds. Right then, activating the Witches. So I'm going to do the Hecatrix first with the Agonizer. Hitting on 3s. Are they in range of the Archon? They are not. Wounding on 4s because poison. 2 at 2. So that's 2 dead. Then the witches. They've all got, because they're on adrenalite, they all get an extra attack, and these are going to get an extra. I've got too many. I've got too many. I need to lose 5. 4, 5, 6. Damn it, damn it. There, that's 5. A net result of 5. Then 4 with 5 attacks each for the Hecatari blades and the adrenalite. Hitting on 3s. The weapons aren't poisoned. They are strength 3, so they're going to wound on 4s. 6 is to wound, or is it hit with this new blade thingamy? With what I like to call power creep. Blade artists on the wound roll. Okay, so it's on the wound roll. That makes it easier. The ones get to reroll because they're next to the succubus. Okay. Ooh, okay. So the 6 is a -2, so that's 2 dead. These are all -1 and successfully wound because strength 3, toughness 3. So these are saves of 6. None. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the unit. And they will spend a command point to consolidate into the Viper. Yes! That's their special... What's it called? I just think it looks so cool. I don't really care if sins are large. Aerial Athleticists. Instead of a consolidation move, if every model is within 6 inches of a friendly Cult of the Red Grief transport, they can embark as if it were the movement phase. Woohoo! And I know, technically speaking, they are 2 units with the succubus and the witches, but I refer you back to most important rule, apply narrative common sense. They all got out of it, they come and killed these things, they're going to get back into it. Just realised I forgot to do a charge. With the obstacle, it's a 7-inch charge. Which is failed. I wonder if there's any... Let me check some cards. So the which is back in the Venom. Check cards, nothing doing. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier because I got distracted with checking footage that miraculously none of the Mandrakes were killed in Overwatch. Not a single hit, not a one. Right, 2 of these died and they can't possibly fail because of the proximity to the banner. A ton of those died. They might not run off. They ran off. Bang! They're staying put. So at the end of Drukhari turn 2, so the end of battle round 2, the Drukhari have got 2 points for holding that objective, and they're not on any other objectives, having moved off their own objective into rapid fire range of all of these guns. So it's 8 points to 3 in favour of the Mon-Keigh filth. I mean the Imperial Guard. Let's see what turn 3 holds. As the sun moves over there. So the Weird Veins have stayed where they are. Going to try and psychic that to bits. Everything else in the centre here has moved up, ready to do the shooting thing over here. The Lemon Rust has parks itself in front of the door to that bunker, i.e. on that objective, and is going to put fire down into this thing. The conscripts have been marshalled by the Commissar to put fire into the Mandrakes. The Sentinel has been ordered on to complete his mission. So Drukhari going to have to kill that somehow, otherwise he'll start racking up all those juicy points. And it is already not looking good for the Drukhari raid. The blade has been quite definitely blunted thus far. So, first things first, Psychic Phase. 1 dice, Smite. plus 2. 6, 8 is a smite for 3 damage, putting the venom down to 1 wound. Right then, orders. There aren't going to be that many to actually do, you know. You first rank fire, second rank fire on this unit, targeting the Cabalite warriors. So 1, 2, 3, 5 las guns, so they get 4 shots each. You know what I just said? Forget that. Did I say 4 or 5 las guns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a las pistol makes all the difference. Okay, hitting on 5s because they're firing into the sun. That's a good lot of hits. Good, well-trained Ultramarian discipline. Wounding on 4s. They're within safety range of the barricade, so their armour's going up by 1, so they're saving on 4s. 4 dead. Yep, 4 dead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have a frag grenade and a frag missile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 8 beforehand, so it's minimum 3 for the grenade. 1 hit, 1 wound, saved. And then for the missile, minimum 3 again. Missed. Obviously cooked it over their heads and smashed it into that building behind them. Right, so this unit will be ordered to take aim on to here. So they're going to reroll 1s to hit. So we've got 4 last gun shots, rerolling 1s. Hitting on 5s because the sun, no 3s because of the sun, but these are veterans. Wounding on 4s, saving on 4s. 1 more dies. Then 2 frag grenades, no minimum this time, so just 4 shots. Reroll the 1s. 4s are hitting because 3s is plus as a base. 1 wound. Saved. Okay, then I don't think there's another. Oh, maybe there is. We'll go for take aim on the heavy weapons team. Or will we go for bring it down? Oh, we'll go for bring it down. Do they both have to fire on the same unit? I'm going to say just the last cannon's firing because the missile launch you can't see. Hitting on a 4. Hits. Wounding on a 3. Reroll 1s. Reroll the 1. There we go. Bring it down. Hits. Save a 5+. No. D6 damage for 5. Does it explode? Nope. There are 6 witches inside though. And 2 of them are impaled on shrapnel, or maybe their poisoned weapons are injected into them as they explode. 9 last pistols into the witches, hitting on 5s from the Weird Vein Psychers. Wounding on 4s. 1. Saving on a 5, actually. Yeah, behind the barricade. Oops. Better. Right, fired. So you've all fired. Oh! I do beg your pardon, Mr. Preacher. You're going to hack that guy to death, and you're going to shoot him first with your gun once, but not wound him. Right then. The Sentinel advanced, so there's nothing doing there. Gonna find out. Can the Layman Russ see the Court of the Archon? Hang on. And I completely forgot to do lightning fast reactions on the Venom, which was silly. I'm going to come back to the Layman Russ after I fired the conscripts at the Mandrakes. Conscripts, of course, really ballistic skill 5+, and the conscripts are naturally -1. The Mandrakes naturally -1 to hit. So these are only hitting on 6s in any case. So that's 3 hits. Wounding on 4s. 2 wounds. Invulnerable saves of 5+. 1 dies. The Commissar, however, has the benediction of the Emperor. 3 pistol shots hitting on 2s. Strength 4, wounding on 3. That, save of 5+. No, that kills another one. Right then. Well, the tank's all geared up to fire this way, so I think I shall fire it this way. The battle cannon is going to fire up at the Court of the Archon. It's a bit iffy whether you can see it, but you can sort of see half of the first 2 guys. So yeah, I'm not going to overrule the rule on that. The battle cannon will go down there twice. The heavy bolters and the last cannon will come in here. Last cannon through that, heavy bolters into there. I don't want to risk firing the battle cannon shell here because it's very close to my own dudes. Right, battle cannon. D6 shots for the first volley. 4. Lightning fast reactions. -1 to hit, so we're hitting on 5s. No, look at that. And the second volley. 3, which I'll re-roll actually for 3. 2 hits. Strength 8. Wounding on 3s. 2s. Because the slith is strength. I think the slith is toughness 5. Let me just double check. The very precariously balanced book. Mandrakes. Master of magic, fear and illusion. Enemies crumble in something in confusion. No, they've changed it. It's not toughness 5 anymore. It's toughness 3. They'll have done that to make it to make the unit easier to deal with stats. That sucks. That sucks. Goats, to paraphrase Wayne's World. Right, 2 wounds. -6, 6+ invulnerable saves, power from pain, which they get for some bizarre reason. Right, D3 wounds for 2. 1 wound left. Cannon shell in the face somewhat makes up for the fact that it's toughness 5, not 3. Or don't trigger yourself. Save it for the rant. Right, last cannon into the Mon-Keigh. Misses. Heavy bolters. 2 hits. 2 wounds. They are getting the benefit of the barricade still, so 5 up saves. 1 more dies. Last pistol with the Tech Priest hits. Doesn't wound. That is everything now, I believe. The conscripts and the commissar are going to charge into the Mandrakes because it's the commissarial thing to do. I think it's a bit foolish. Am I going to Overwatch? No, I'm not. Not with 1 command point left. 6 inches, that's in. The priest into the Homunculus. That's in. Dink for the Emperor. Was anyone going to go and join him? No, they're not going to override his orders and stay on that objective. He's just a bit nuts. This isn't Ibrahim Gaunt. He isn't going to send men to save the priest. He's going to get... He's thinking about the form he's going to have to fill in to requisition another one. Right then, moving these guys. Okay, so there's not going to be any interrupting, so we're going to start with the Lord Commissar, who, oh, he's only got 3 attacks. I think he's going to have more than that. Hitting on 2s, but -1 to hit Mandrakes always, so 2 misses. Strength is 5 with a power, 4 with a power sword, so wounding on 3s. 5+ invulnerable save. Now, so he kills a Mandrake. He swipes his sword through a shadow and it disappears into dust. Mist, not dust. Right, conscripts. 10 attacks. That's more than 10, Paul. You can't count. 5. 12. I used to use these with a priest and get lots of rerolls back in the day when they did that. Hitting on 5s. 1. Wounding on a 4. No. Okay, the Mandrake's turn to retaliate. And the Mandrakes have 3 attacks each. Gee whiz. And the Glimmer Steel Blade. Oh, -1. Isn't everything? 3 Mandrakes are going against the Commissar. 1, 2, 3. And how many wounds has the Commissar got? 4. That's not enough. There's only 3 that can get to him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect number of dice. The 4 Mandrakes are going against the unit. Not enough. Alright, hitting the unit on 3s. A bunch of misses. Strength 4, wound... Is it strength 4? Strength user. Yeah, strength 4, wounding on 3s. The 6s are -2. And the others are just -1. So these save on 6s. That one saves. Kills 5. Only 5. I expected to do a lot more than that. It's 5 dead. And the 3 guys against the Commissar, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 3s. Ooh. What's his save? 4+. Oh, hang on. Yes, -1, so saves of 5. No, 5 wounds on the Commissar. The Commissar is slain. Not quite the morale phase yet. Oh, should have done the Preacher before anything else. My apologies. Let's do the Preacher now. Minister and Priest. 4 attacks with his chainsword. 4 hits. Wounding on 6s though. Ooh, a wound. Which doesn't save and isn't shrugged. He goes down to 2. And he'll go back up to 3 at the start of his turn. The Homunculus will use 1 attack for his Ichor Injector, which will do a mortal wound on a 2+ if it hits, which it does. That's a wound there. And these will use the Mon-Keigh tools, which wound on 2s. That's 4 wounds, saving on 4s. No, 3 wounds this turn. That is the Preacher dead. Right then, so morale. The Mandrakes have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 this turn. They fail. 1 runs, disappears back into the shadow. As at 2 disappear back into the shadows. The conscripts, yeah, they fell. So 1 runs, and of the other 4, 2 more run. Grumble, grumble. The Cabalite Warriors lost 6. 6 and 8 is fine. They're good. They're staying. What are they going to be able to do? We'll find out. Okay. Right, so let's go on to... Let's see what they can do with 5 Mandrakes, 2 Cabalite Warriors. Ah, there's a few. There's bits. There's bits. There are bits. But only bits. Right, let's see what they can do in their turn 3. Okay, so the Mandrakes have slipped back into the shadows to come back out next turn, or the turn after. The Cabalite Warriors have fallen back onto that objective, and are going to shoot down the table. The sun's over there, sorry. The Homunculus regain a wood, and has come over here to sort of snip. And the Archon of the Court, the Archon advanced up here, and I'm going to start to put some fire down. Now, the Witches and the Succubus both advanced, terrible rolls, both of them, but they have intentionally split up. They are going around, they're heading over here, and they're going to go for different targets. Okay, so the Court, the Archon are firing over. Ah, and the pistol can't fire because they advanced. Oh, shucks. None of the pistols can. Only the shard carbines. Right, well, I'm definitely not killing this unit with those. Hitting on 4s. Wounding on 4s. Saving on 6s. Yes, one of them. The coat saved one of them. The question is, do I kill them with one of these units in the charge phase, which is coming very, very, very soon? The Homunculus will shoot one of these on a 2. On a 2, saving a 5. No, dead guy. And the Warriors will fire into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to split their fire. No, they're not. They're not going to split their fire. Are they going to split their fire? No, they're not going to split their fire. They'll fire into the infantry unit. The Shredder hits 4 times. Shoots 4 times. Hitting on 3s. That's keen. Strength 6, running on 2s. That's very keen. -1, so saving on 6s. Okay. I just rolled 3 6s 3 times in a row. Right then. And the 10 6s. So that's hit with the... Oh, God. That's hit with the Splinter Rifle. Wounding on a 4+. No. So endeth the run of 6s. Right, it's the charge phase. I've got to decide who I'm charging now. I forgot to take cover again. I found it really difficult to use the stratagems for the Imperial Guard. They're awfully specific. They really are. What do I want to kill realistically? Feels like... I mean, avoiding the... I suppose I could charge them as well to get over here. Let me do some measuring. To get to this unit is an 8-inch charge. It's only 6 and 5 as the crow flies, but this one's got to go up and over. This one's got to go round. So to get to these guys would be 10, which even with a reroll is pushing it. So I think the Succubus will charge this unit and the captain. The LT for 8 inches. Wow. Thoroughly in on 11. She's in there. And the Witches will charge the Psychers. Let's kill them. On a 9. I'd have made it. Well, we can come around here, can't we? I think. They didn't get Overwatch because they were over there. But these guys can Overwatch. You know, I was saying, I don't know what to spend all these skill points on, these command points. They'll Overwatch, and they'll Overwatch against the Homunculus. The Homunculus is in if he lives. Overwatch. Crack missile. No. Crack grenade. No. 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 bolter rounds. Bolter? Last gun. One last gun hit, running on a 6. No. Okay. And then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 last pistols over here. Hitting on 6 is almost as good as when they're shooting normally. 1. On a 3? No. Okay. I don't know if there's going to be any interrupting going on, because he's got the command points for it. Let's do some damage here, but I think I'll just work out what the witch does. So we'll start with the succubus. She has 6 attacks base. That's much better than it used to be. Much better. And with the triptych whip, she's got +3, which gives her 9 attacks. Going to put 4 into the company commander and 5 into the veterans. So the 4 into the company commander, hitting on 2s. 3 hits. Wounding on 2s. Rerolling. Oh no, she doesn't reroll her own 1s. But she's wounding on 2s because of the triptych whip. He needs his invulnerable saves of 5+. Fails them all. 2 damage each. He dies. Then the... Come on. Don't ruin the illusion. Then against the veterans. 4 hits. Dead on 2s. 2 failed wounds. Which caught core. Yeah, she used to do that for herself. Combat drugs, blade arts, power and pain. No, they won't do anything for that. So those are dead, and those guys will get to strike back in a moment. Right, are we interrupting? Yes. We are. Who's got the best chance of success? Well, who's going to hit on 5s, but wound on 4s? They're going to hit on 4s, but wound on 6s. They have the best chance of success. Right. So we'll activate the Weird Vein Psychers. Actually, they're going to wound on 3s because they get +1. Their Weird Vein staffs extra strength. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Hitting on 5s. Whoa! For the Emperor! Wounding on 3s. 4+ invulnerable saves to dodge. One of them gets hacked to death by a Weird Vein. Okay, right. Now this dude, Homunculus. 4 attacks. What's... we'll go for the... Oh! May now be stratagem time. Okay, well the first thing we're going to do is 1 attack with his I-Core injector. 2+ does a mortal wound. Okay, so that's a dead guy. Let's just get rid of him for the sec. 5 remaining attacks because he's got 4 base and +2 for using his scissor hand. He's put a command point on the torturous craft to reroll to wound. So hitting on 2s, 3 hits. Wounding on 4s with a reroll. So 2 minus 2, so 2 dead from that. Only the 2. Okay. Right, so attacks. But no, witches next. Okay, so Hecatrix hitting on. Oh, turn 3. What does Power from Pain give you? And have I been missing out on it? I have totally been missing out on it. Power from Pain, Flensing Fury. Melee attack, add 1 to hit. Okay. So 2s hit. Right, they all hit. Add Agonizer, wounding on 4s, but a re-roll of 1s because of the succubus. Okay, 1. 1 kill with an Agonizer. Oh no. Then the regular witch. 5 attacks, hitting on 2s because of Flensing Fury. Wounding on 4s. Rerolling the 1. No, so they killed 2. How did they murder everyone? There were more of them. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry, it's the guardsman over here. 1, 2. Is he the chainsword guy? He's the chainsword guy. So he's got 3 attacks. Plus 3 for the other guardsman. Hitting on 4s. Wounding on 6s. No. That's it. I think we're on morale. So the Weird Veins lost 3. 4 and 3 is 7. What is the leadership of a Weird Vein? It's either going to be super high or hella low. Hello. Weird Vein 7. They're fine. No one was shot to death. That's a fail. So 1 runs, and that's less than half. They'll run on 1s and 2s. 2 more disappear. No, because the banner is an extra point of leadership. So they're fine. The veterans lost 2, and they're absolutely fine. Their commander's just been grievously wounded in front of them. They are having none of it. And they get to have a fight. They get to fight back. She can never be hit. But no, that's fine. She wasn't hit on a 1, 2, or 3. But that is not a wound, because she's got the extra toughness. Right, the guard unit lost 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 is a fail, even with the +1. So that's 1. The Voxcaster runs away. And the others on 1s or 2s. And another Sarge is left. Doesn't feel right. In fact, I'm putting the Voxcaster back because that's 2 models. Grr. So at the end of Drukhari turn 3, 2 points for holding that objective, 1 point for holding that one of their own. Close to getting this one, but not close enough. So that's 3 points for Drukhari, taking it to 10 points to 6 at the end of turn 3. The gap is closing. We shall see. We shall see what the guard can do in turn 4 as the sun moves over there. So here's the dilemma. Every unit here is in engagement range of a really hard close combat Drukhari unit. And anyone who stays in engagement range is going to be jam-bred dead. So they're going to need to fall back. However, there's no longer an officer to order them back into the fight. So this is going to be quite disorganised. Every unit is going to have to disengage and sit on the objective and rely entirely on the Layman Russ and 2 conscripts and a tech priest to do all the damage. But on the plus side, the sprint that the Armour Sentinel's making has paid off. He's made it to that objective. So there's going to be a couple of points there. That might actually seal the game. Yeah. Right, so yes, I will continue with the moving. So it is tempting to start putting cannon rounds down into this unit, but we are going to be overrun here. I think the sensible thing to do is not try and clear both, because I don't think I can get that one, but put all the fire into here. So we're going to do... is that what we're going to do? She's going to be difficult to kill. She's got that invulnerable save. Heavy bolters into them. Last cannon into that. Battle cannon into that. And then we'll see where we are with firing the battle cannon again. Last cannon into the Homunculus. Misses. Do we want to use lightning fast reflexes on her? Yes, we do. I have a plan for her. Lightning fast reflexes. So she's -1 to hit. Okay, battle cannon, which can re-roll. Do I want to re-roll a 4? No. Hitting on 5s. 3 hits. Superb. Strength is 8. Toughness is 4, so 2s. 4 plus invulnerable saves. Fails all 3. D3 damage each. 2, 3, 4, 5. How many she got? Is it 5 or is it 6? It's going to make a difference. Oh, I can't do the book with not enough hands. Oh, crusade stuff. It's 5. It's 5. And she doesn't have, no escape. Oh! 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 Right. Pause. She's probably dead. But in order for the veterans to fall back, they have to win a roll-off. So, rolling for Succubus, then the others. Succubus, 5. The veterans, 3. No, the veterans were unable to fall back. And the Weird Veins, to tie, what do they have to do? If I win, so they could fall back. So they have not. The cannon couldn't go into the Succubus. So I already fired the last cannon. So what? How else would I have done it? I'd have said last cannon and battle cannon into them, heavy bolters into them, and then we'll come back to the second shot with the battle cannon. So heavy bolters into the witches, which means I didn't spend the command point on the -1. Would I have spent it on there? It's easy to ask now I've looked at the dice. I think I would. I because I need to keep these units alive. So the heavy bolters miss. No. What we're going to do is we're going to do the dice gods for that. 3 plus. Sorry. Odds. I did use lightning reflexes. Evens. I didn't. Odds. I did. They've missed. That's been done. The last cannon missed him. The battle cannon has 3 shots. No, I rolled 4 shots. No, 3 shots, but I will re-roll that. 1 shot. Which misses. Right, battle cannon again onto him. 1 shot. Re-roll the 6 shots. Right, come on. Give him some of the Emperor's Justice. Hitting on 4s. Strength is 8. So he can be wounded on 3s. So 3s. 3 of them. Okay, we are in vulnerable saves of 6 territory. Nope. Each one is D3 damage for 7 damage, which he will shrug on 5s. He shrugs 3 of them. 4 damage. He is dead. Well, he took some killing, didn't he, boys and girls? And that, I'd have put the... What have I done? There we go. I'd have put these guys a little bit more aggressively on there as well. We have a las pistol that's out of range. And that is it. So at the end of guard, turn 4. 1, 2 for their own objectives. 3, 4... for a Drukhari objective. So they go up to 14 points. That's a lot of points. Let's see what the Drukhari can do, because... No. It's the fight phase. It is most definitely the fight phase. And she gets 9 attacks. They hit on 2s. And wound on 2s. So they're dead. And she consolidates 3 inches, but she isn't going for them. She's going for the tank. Because I'm pretty sure I can use the metal poison thing on the tank and try and kill it good. Right, okay. But they do still have that objective, irrespective of the close combat, because they're obsecking it. So it is 14 points to 6, but the Drukhari might be able to do something with this turn. They just might. Okay, so here is what I am laughingly referring to as the plan. So, Archon has stayed there. He sent his bodyguard off to kill those, just because we don't want them shooting us next turn. The succubus has run over here. She is going to charge and try and kill that Layman Russ. She has to survive the Overwatch. These 2 witches have whipped round here. I tried to get the blast pistol close enough to do some damage to the tank, but couldn't. They are going to kill these 2 and obsec that objective, which is going to make 6 points. The 2 Cavalite warriors, if they get close enough, if they get within engagement range of the sentinel, they're obsecking that objective for another point, assuming they don't get trodden to death. So that would be 5 points this turn, and maybe a dead Layman Russ. If there's a dead Layman Russ, then in turn 5, we should be able to take that objective off them as well, because then that unit can follow up onto here and secure this one whilst the witches move on. It will depend what's happening over there with that sentinel and whether he's able to get points from the Drukhari side of the board. Because in theory, if they live, then 2, 3, 6, the 7 points can be got in a turn. So it's the slim, jolly slim, but still possible. Okay, so shooting phase. We're going to have the pistols into the psychers. Blast pistol hits, fails to wound. Splinter pistol hits, wounds, dead, because they only have coats. The eye flare hits once and doesn't wound. The shard carbines hits 3 times, 3 wounds, saves a 5+. No, leaves one of them on 1 wound. We'll fire the Shredder up at the Armoured Sentinel for 2 shots. 1 hit, doesn't wound. And the Splinter Rifle hits and doesn't wound. Okay, so that's all the guns fired. Okay, so... there's no Overwatch over here. We're just going to move in. The succubus charges. She's in. Ooh, 9 inches. That means we can get to here, which is good. Now, so 2 command points from the guard tank. One for Overwatch and 1 for defensive gunners, meaning that he will Overwatch on a 5 or a 6. So, last cannon hits, wounds on a 3, wounds, Invulnerable save of 4+. Saves. This is, can you feel the tension in the air? Heavy bolters. 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. No wounds. D6 shots with the cannon. Rerolling that to a 6. Hitting on 5s or 6s. 1 hit. She can't be killed. Wounding on a 3. No. The Overwatch has gone and not done it, y'all. No. And then the witches are going to charge. They're in. Then the Court of the Archon is charging. They are also in. Ooh. So we just check a couple of... Need to check a couple of things. Okay, so I was just checking because I thought if these guardsmen interrupt, they might kill the witches. So do I go first and risk being hit by the tank? I then remembered I haven't brought the Mandrakes back in. So I've brought the Mandrakes back in. Because I know it's moved on a little bit, but it's what I intended to do. And it's 5 to midnight, so I'm quite tired. So I'm forgiving myself a little bit of lapsy memory-ishness. So they've come in here as part of the plan to... And cack-handedness, apparently, to secure this objective. And they are going to shoot the conscripts. So rewinding a little bit to the shooting phase. They're shooting the conscripts. Running on 3s. Saving on 6s. The conscripts are dead. Right, now we're going to start with the witches. The Hecatrix hits on 2s because of eager to flay. Oh, 2's a hit. Wounding on 4s. Nothing. Okay. The... Oh! The Ordinary Witch hits 5 times. Wounding on 4s. 2 at -1. 2 saves of 6+. No, they are dead. That was tense. And just for the record, at this point I'm rooting for the underdog. Although I want both sides to win. I want the Imperial Guard to hold on by the skin of their teeth, but I also really want the Drukhari to pull it back from the yawning abyss of everything that's happened since turn 1. So I think this is really interesting. So, am I going to interrupt anywhere? No, I don't think I am. So, spending 2 command points on Metallatoxin. So she's going to hit on 2s. This is a grotesque combination. This should be totally banned. For competitive play, this is just sick. For narrative, I think it's kind of funky, but you wouldn't want this happening a lot. All right, now poison weapon 2+. Wounded the vehicle on 2+. And it was how much damage? It was -3, 2 damage. Saves a 6. 1 save a 6. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 wounds. How many wounds does Layman Russ have? It's more than 12, isn't it? I have a feeling it's 14. I don't think she's done it. Layman Russ, 12. She's done it. Does it explode? Uh-oh. Always with the 6s. D3 mortal wounds to the succubus for 2, and the tech priest for 3. So she takes 2 wounds. She's got 3 left. How many wounds does a tech priest have? It's going to be 3, isn't it? Please be 4. Ministerium Priest, Tech Priest Agency 4. Thank you, Omnisire. Oh, I think she's got it. Yep, that's more than 3 inches. I'll check it with the tape measure, but that looks like more than 3 inches to me. Right. Let me look up their stats. So the Sliths alone have 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 5, wounding on 3s. He's dead. The Warriors attacking the Sentinel hit, get a wound, which is saved. The Sentinel fails to step on a Cabalite Warrior. So, you know that long shot I was talking about? 2, 4, 6, 7 points. Taking it to the end of battle round 4 to 13 points to 14. Still in favour of the Imperial Guard. Is there any way we can do anything? Let's have a look in turn 5. As the sun goes in, and it's night again. Ooh. Okay, movement phase is happening live. Right, done. It's a very, yeah. So, tread on them. Can't kill both of them in one turn, but maybe 2 of them in. Maybe I'll stop him holding it in his turn, so I can't get that. Unless... Oh, no. No. Hang on. I can fall back. And move 8 to there. Ha 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 ha. Even if I go a bit further back. Oh, hang on. Let me get the tape measure and double check that. Yep, I can totally do that. So that's 2 points. Right, psychic phase. We're going to smite. We need a 5. We don't get it. Okay, shooting phase. Sentinel can't fire, he fell back. 3 last pistols. Nope. Last pistol over here. Yes. Doesn't wound. Okay. Charge phase. The guy's got an Overwatch. No, he's not going to use that Overwatch there. In. And there is no thingying. No thingying. Interrupting. He hasn't got enough command points. So 3 we're based a long shot now. The psychic did nothing. The bullets did nothing. Hit on 5s. 1. Wounding on a 3. No. Right, Tech Priest Engine Seer. 1 attack with his servo arm, which misses. And 1 attack with the power axe, which hits. Does wound. Doesn't save. I think it's 1 damage. Or is it... does it count as an Omniscient Axe? Omniscient Axe? Plus 1, minus 2, 2 damage. Ah, so close. Oh, so close. You're now dead. 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. Why am I counting out this many dice? I mean, let's face it, he's dead. They don't wound. Minus 3. His armor's 3 up. Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Poor little fella. Then the witches. Only 4 attacks now because the adrenalite doesn't kick in when they've been charged. 4 hits. Wounding on 4 plus thing with the agonizer, and then the one with the blade. Minus 1, he's only got 1, so they die. So the guards, or as I perhaps should say, the Sentinel was another game. He was a survivor as well. I don't wonder why he lives. So at the end of Guard turn 5, they get 2 points for securing their home objective, taking them to 16 points. However, in Drukhari turn 5, they will move dink onto that objective and score 1, 2, 3 here for another 7 points, making the final score 20 points to 16 in the favour of the Drukhari. Wow, what a fight. I thought after turn 1 and a little bit of turn 2, this was going to be over in moments and the Drukhari were going to get absolutely pasted. I mean, look at the dead piles. Everything's dead, Dave. We've got how many models left on the board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, it's not quite as few as I thought it was going to be. Wow. My Scourges are heading for the Mincer. Loving the Mandrakes. There are some grotesque combinations in that book, which I will be finding out what they are and avoiding them if I don't think they're narratively appropriate. There are lots of things in there I do like. They've done some cool things, like it's late, I can hardly talk. I mentioned it at the start, her Warlord trait that means you can only hit her on a 4+. I really like that. That sort of fits with what it's meant to be. It's just really hard to land a blow on her. Rather than just upping her invulnerable save. I like that. That's kind of cool. And there's a few other bits like that I like as well. Some other bits... Wow. I think Metallatoxin is going to get hit with the Nerf bat very soon. Because, yeah, it didn't really make a big difference against the Chimera. But, geez, you put it on a relic like that, and... whew! That'll be fact in... It wasn't something I planned. It was just something... Right, what could I do? Is there any way I can kill this thing? What if I did that? Holy moly. Them going down to toughness 3. Ugh. But then again, they have given them... You may notice he's gone back up a wound, because I noticed he's given them a 5-up shrug. I say he. They've been given a 5-up shrug, which I guess kind of makes up for that a little bit. I've forgotten how to stop talking. So I'm going to end it there because I am... it's late. I'm tired. That was amazing fun, and I cannot believe the outcome after all of that. The story. There's a part 2. The Drukhari managing to attract a great deal of attention here, and the very fact that they forced this confrontation and they took quite a beating, even though they achieved their objective, is mobilising more military units against them. And in the attempt to be noticed by High Command, Imperial High Command, and divert their new Primaris contingents here, this definitely seems like a step in the right direction. I guess we shall see in part 2. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I have certainly enjoyed playing it. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.